Hello, welcome back to my channel. We are finishing the episode 2 of the Simone Biles series. All the other reactions and videos are on my channel, so let's go ahead and get into the final part.
Marta Caroli were hailed as this hero and the savior for the sport of gymnastics. They became like the standard of excellence because they came in from Romania having been coaches of Nadia.
And 10 has gone on the board. That is Olympic history for Nadia Comaneci.
And then immediately after Mary Lou. The way the Carolis trained was, it was an old world method. It was what they had brought from Romania. It was pushing your body and your mind and your...
You know, it's so crazy because I used to watch really old videos of these girls that they're showing right now, the girls that were a little bit older than me, like Nasia's era, Carly's era, all of that, and like their Olympic training videos at camp, and I was just like, God, I want to be there, I want to be there, I want to be there, I want to do that, I want to do that, and then I end up going to do that. I'm like, this is not at all what I was expected. I felt like, you know how like in Matilda, he sells her that really crappy car, and then she gets into it thinking it's great because he like lied about the car. That's how I felt. I got to camp and realized everything was a lie, and this place actually sucked really bad.
If you're gonna break.
We were robots, dude.
I like to have fun doing gymnastics, and after I went to camp, that was not fun. And then I realized they held our careers in their hands. We couldn't put ourselves on a world team and our Olympic team.
Everything what you do from this moment, it counts.
Miserable.
It was honestly frowned upon to be like silly at practice or to be laughing. It was a very type A environment where we wanted to be perfect.
Parents were not allowed to be at the ranch, and you kind of have to give 100%.
That is the biggest red flag ever. Now that I'm a parent and now that I've, been pulled out of this toxic system and just educating myself on like grooming signs, red flags when it comes to kids specifically, if you ever go to a place where children are involved and they have signs that says their parents are not allowed to be there, that is wild to me, and that's a red flag to me because parents and kids are one and the same. If it involves my child, it involves me because that's my child. Emphasis on the word child and extra emphasis on the word mine. So if they're a minor, you're not going to tell me where I can and cannot be with them, especially if they need to be alone. You want them alone. Why do you want them alone, you weirdo? Like what could be so important that you, like, I understand them wanting to get us used to maybe going off on international assignments and having to be without our parents and yada yada yada, but even on those assignments my parents would have traveled, and I'm sure other people's parents were traveling. But to say, like, your parents aren't allowed to be here, that's crazy to me. And that's a huge red flag. Like, no wonder you didn't want our parents there. Because no sane parent would watch this and go, very healthy. Please, continue with my daughter.
To everything they're doing.
Thank you, Marta, Coach Nash,
Thank you, Marta, Coach Nash, stopping by. Hated it.
Control what they were eating. You didn't really have a say on how you felt.
I remember not sticking a vault, just like taking the slightest step forward and being told I was worthless to the team.
Was very military. You don't really speak, you don't say much, you don't have an opinion. You just were taught to be silent.
And up, get out. Even if the cast is bad, you need to go earlier. You never go earlier.
Lori.
But it's not just the ranch and it's not just USA Gymnastics. Many other American coaches followed suit. There wasn't the understanding of rest, and there certainly wasn't any focus on the mental health.
I don't know if you could call it words of encouragement.
Oh, John Getter. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Poor Jordan. Jesus.
For us to be dominant, given so much of the toxicity. USA Gymnastics having that space, obviously, created fertile ground for someone who has a position of power to...
Like, just look at their eye bags. You're gonna tell me these girls were healthy and happy? No. I wonder what happened to all that equipment at camp. That's a lot of equipment. It's expensive.
Yes, I love it.
used to get ready together all the time. Remember at when we roomed, the one and only time we roomed together at Pan Am's?
Allie used to be so messy. I roomed with her one time at Pac Rim. Never again.
Never roomed together ever again. We actually did get, we were like, well, we like bicker like sisters, but we love each other, but we shouldn't room together. I first met Simone when I started to come back to training camp in 2014. Floor was my best event.
That is a performance to beat.
I had come back.
She's so amazing, Allie.
Trying to make the 2016 Olympic team. Like, did you just see how quickly I just I realized quickly that I
don't know what Mihai does, but he has raised some really wonderful women and coaches. You know, obviously I know their parents have a lot to do with it too, but like Mihai, I've honestly never heard anything negative about him. Allie and Alicia, obviously coming from the same gym, and Alicia now being on the selection committee or athlete, whatever she is in USAG. I just love them. You know, Allie was always so nice to me, and we went to classics together, and we went to camps together. I don't remember how many camps we went to together, but she was always so nice to me, and I just knew she was super special. I looked up to her a lot, and she was just really kind. And you see her now being kind of like the mom of that group of women who have had to have a strong voice when it came to Larry. Alicia's been a big advocate in that stuff. I've had, with my old coach who got arrested, he was trying to get reinstated with USAG probably 4-ish years after getting arrested and getting banned. And she, Alicia, actually stepped in and helped defend us, my old coach, when he was trying to get reinstated, because, you know, my mom was on the phone and they were saying like, well, if her coach was so bad, why'd you bring her back? You know, like that type of thing, which, you know, there is a point to that, but also when you don't know, you don't know. And also it's hard to be in that spot and see a coach that could really take your gymnast far, and that's what your gymnast is begging, and it's a hard place to be as a parent. And Alicia stepped in and said that, and she defended my mom and was like, you don't get to say stuff like that to her. You have no idea what this world is like. You don't get to gaslight her, essentially, for that. So Alicia really stood up to my old coach and his lawyer, and my coach didn't get reinstated, and I think Alicia had a big part to do with that. So I have a lot of respect for them because they were, or she was there.
Yeah, on floor. See, messy.
Clean.
Yeah, that's exactly.
I feel like we were very close from the very beginning. First, she was my idol. I literally have like autographs from her, seeing her at like classics and championships in 2012.
I gravitated towards her because I was a little bit more anxious and I wanted to do like everything perfectly right, and Simone has this fun balance to her where she can be focused when she needs to be, but then she can just turn it off and be goofy and silly.
Having Allie there at my first Olympics in Rio, she was team captain. She showed me the ropes and kind of taught me everything. So
I love her,
Like,
Allie. She's just a mom. She's sweet.
Hard to describe what the first Olympics felt like. The nerves were there, but I had never been more prepared in my entire life.
I remember before we walked out to compete, we were looking at each other and I was like, are you okay? She's like, nope. Are you okay? And I was like, nope, I feel like I'm gonna throw up. And she's like, I do too.
We did a couple deep breaths together. We held each other's hands. We're like, we got this, let's go.
The time of the Almanar. Not so much anymore, huh?
We could have done those routines with our eyes closed, backwards. There was nothing to stop that team. Absolutely nothing could stand in our way.
But this is non-stop, beautiful choreography displayed at the highest performance level. Judges, put your pencils down because that right there, that is an Olympic gold medal winning moment. Royalty after this.
Having that high and then winning, it almost didn't feel real. We are the Royal Flag! For so long, you see your idols, and you're like, oh my gosh, I wonder how that would feel if I made history, and I'm making history now, and I don't even know what to feel.
4 gold medals and a bronze, which is a crazy thing.
I came out of 2016 with 5 medals. I don't think I've ever been so excited in my entire life.
She's a new queen of gymnastics.
This has been her destiny all along.
Rio was the highlight of my life, and at the end of the trip, I said, oh shit. I just achieved my greatest feat at 19. What the heck am I supposed to do with the rest of my life?
Talk about an identity crisis. Ugh.
I just needed to get rest. But even whenever I was resting, I wasn't resting. I stopped doing a lot of things that I was passionate about. Everybody told me I just won the Olympics. How could I be sad? I couldn't really pull all of my emotions and everything that I was going through.
More than 265 victims have come forward since the scandal broke.
Jesus.
In the very beginning, when everything
Just
came
forget
out,
how many it was. It's insane.
I felt like I was so naive all of those years.
Ugh. I'm just looking at camp, like that hallway you walk through. It's just so heavy.
After the USAG said keep us healthy,
That's
the
Jordan's
doctor that was
voice.
our abuser.
They thought it was medical treatment. You have to understand, they were 13, 14, 15 at the time.
We were just kids.
Nobody ever told us what sexual abuse was. And once I realized it wasn't my fault, it was the culture of gymnastics and the people that covered it up.
Olympic stars say Nasser abused them at the Texas ranch owned by Bella and Marta Caroli.
If over these many years just one adult listened and had the courage and character to act, this tragedy could have been avoided.
USA Gymnastics was fostering a culture that put money and medals first.
This is probably the darkest stain
Give me
in U.S. Olympic history.
goosebumps. Yeah. Well, and I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong about this, but what I thought I heard and I've seen is that this FBI cover-up of Larry is the biggest cover-up scandal in FBI history or something. That is a lot to be said. And what's sad is there were adults that spoke up to defend these women and these young girls and little girls. But the corruption and the money involved, it is it's almost unbelievable. But to me, it's very believable. When you finally decide to open your eyes and accept the fact that bad things like this actually do happen and people actually do cover this up for money, for titles, for fame, it's unbelievable what people will go to for money, control, and power. And the more people that can wake up to realize this, the better we can protect our children and warn them of things like this happening, because it does happen and it will not go away just because you ignore it. That's why it's so important to talk and teach your children these warning signs. I mean, I got a lot of education in warning signs, and I still went through some things. Not to the extent of these people and not to the extent of some of my teammates, but I still went through enough that it changed me at a young age. And had I not been more educated, I fear what more could have been done. And it's very scary to think about.
She told me to pull over because I was crying so hard.
She was just hysterical.
I know the feeling.
She didn't say anything.
Okay.
She just cried. And we just cried together.
Ugh, Nellie's gonna tear me apart right now.
What it was. She wanted to talk about it.
Gee.
My mother knows.
The former Olympic doctor was sentenced to 40 to 175 years in prison.
Bye.
When everything came out, that's all you can think about because it's like walking around with Survivor or something on your forehead. I don't think people realize that, like explaining that story and being like a survivor and an advocate for that, it's so mentally exhausting. And they couldn't do one damn job. You had one job. You literally had one job and you couldn't protect us. With something that she carries, that all of those girls carry. It's hard to step back into the gym after all we've been through, but it's even harder to do it under the pressure that she has. I know that she's expected to win like all the gold medals, and I really hope that she does, but I just hope that no matter what, she can just look back and be proud that like even the fact she's trying to come back is really amazing. I truly
There will never be
believe that
another
we've
like
put in
her.
the work, and I've kind of freed myself from a lot of that big stuff that I didn't get to tackle before. I've talked to my therapist multiple times about if I were having trouble at any of the meets, ways to stay calm through visualizations. Like, what's one thing that makes you not stressed out? And for me, it's like, I feel the most serene at the beach. Visualize yourself that, take some deep breaths, or what makes you feel powerful. And I'm like, okay, the color red. So then I would be like, okay, that's my power soaker. So feel that whenever I'm out there competing and stuff like that. So, I mean, I feel like that really, really helps. Come on, come on.
The gym is so nice.
A triple-double is 3 twists, 2 flips. The only reason why we didn't do it last year is because I was getting comfortable with twisting again. Last year she was doing those skills and you could feel there was a little apprehension, or it wasn't as quick as it used to be.
Accelerate starting tonight. You want to make that team and compete? You've got to make an impression starting tonight. And what a field, including 3 Olympic all-around champions.
Oh, Gabby's Leo was so good too.
And I always tell the girls, like, nothing changes. Your gymnastics doesn't change, just the atmosphere in the arena.
Mm-hmm. Tell my girls that all
And
the
so I
time.
actually found myself saying that a lot before we started.
First event of the season for Simone Biles in the lead up to Paris. And she will start on balance beam.
Once I started doing my routines, I just kept having to stress to myself, like, nothing changes, your gymnastics is the same. Your gymnastics is the same. A lot of these athletes have a different style. Simone is really quick twitch. You see how fast she gets to that finish position. At this point, my biggest competition, myself.
Oh, man. I think there's more episodes coming out that are for this series. But, man, yeah, that's a really good series. I think episode 1 was definitely really heavy, at least for me to watch. But, yeah, that's crazy. So, good series. And, guys, that's finally it. We finally finished it. It's taken me a while, but there's been a lot of stuff to get to as well. So, thank you guys for coming with me on this journey of watching this series. Let me know what other things you guys want me to talk about down below. Any routines you want me to break down from the Olympics. Anything that you can think of, and I will be sure to get to it. Thank you again so much for supporting my channel, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!